everyone, my name is Bree and welcome back to our channel 1134 Press, where we share bookmaking, journaling, and papercraft inspiration. So this week I'm going to show you how to make a nature and vintage theme junk journal. This project is super near and dear to my heart because during lockdown, aside from going to the grocery store and the laundromat, the only place that my husband and I went was to the state park. I wanted to do a project, a book project, where I made a junk journal kind of reflecting on those 3 months of uncertainty and anxiety. But when I think about it, or when I think about that time, it was also so much more than that. It was a time where I was feeling really inspired and generative. I was crafting a lot. I learned a lot of new skills as far as bookmaking and writing goes. So lockdown wasn't all about being anxious. And yeah, so I wanted to make a project that reflected that. So this project is going to be broken up over a couple of different videos because I wanted to spend an adequate amount of time on showing you guys different techniques and ideas for creating embellishments for your journal, and also how to actually use your junk journal. And my thought was that I want this series to be something that newbies can pick up on, and also people who have tons of experience in junk journaling will find it beneficial as well. So in this first video, I'm going to walk you through how to construct the junk journal, and what kind of materials that I use and techniques that I use to give it that vintagey, natural journal in the woods type vibe. So without further ado, here is the tutorial. So how do you get from having a sheet of paper to having those 4 pages that I showed you guys? I used 4 sheets from the Heirloom stack. I got this from AC Moore, RIP AC Moore, a while ago, and they just have a bunch of, like, you know, vintage looking or inspired sheets of paper. So once I figured out what paper I was going to use, I took them out. And they are all 12 by 12, so they are a perfect square. And I wanted to have a small junk journal, and I thought a square would be great. So for all 4 pages, I folded them in half. Or I should say signatures rather, not pages. And then I folded it again. To create 1 signature. So when you have your paper in this fold, there are so many opportunities for pockets and tuck spots. So just from this fold, what I could do is bring this down like this, and then I have a pocket if I were to glue, you know, the center here and then a little bit here. Or if I wanted to, I could fold this down like this, open this back up and cut here. And here. And then, so then I will have a pocket here. And once I glue this side down right here, then this could be a whole other pocket. So the possibilities are endless. Or if I wanted to, I could keep this like this or like this and just leave this side open, and then I could have a tuck spot here. So for this project, I wanted a lot of journaling space and a lot of places to put mini journals and tags. So I went with 4 pieces of scrapbook paper that I folded in this way so I could have options to do different things with it. If you guys want a whole book page tutorial, let me know in the comments. I can definitely do that. The purpose of this particular tutorial is to, show you how to bind your journal. To basically get from 4 signatures to this. And now we are going to walk through how to make the cover. So we're gonna deconstruct a cardboard box for the cover. I'm just using one of the signatures to measure out what size I need. Luckily enough, this box had panels that were the perfect size for what I needed. The next step is to peel off the top layers of the cardboard so we can expose the ridges. A tip is to try to get it all in one piece. I really wanted the ridges to show. I didn't want a lot of that extra layer of craft paper or whatever material that is over top of it. So I had to just go through with my fingers to try to make the ridges come through, and you'll see that in a little bit. Something else that you could do is use gesso over top of the cardboard to give it more of a grungy look. You'll see later that I ended up using distressing ink to make it a little bit darker and a little bit more grungier. But you can paint on top of this for sure. So I got one of those craft moss sheets. I'll link one on Amazon in the description below, but I purchased this roll or this particular brand from Hobby Lobby. I cut the moss out slightly bigger than the picture frame so I could have some space to hot glue the back of the moss onto the picture frame. The frame I also got from Hobby Lobby. It's just a wooden frame that I got from their wood section, and then I went over it with some stamping ink. So you want to put some hot glue on there. I did it on the outermost edge, trying not to let the glue show through the decorative cuts, but I wasn't 100% successful because hot glue can be a little unpredictable. This particular moss has a adhesive back, but I found that it wasn't sticky enough. So I just went through with more hot glue on the back of the moss and attached it to the cover. So these are dried flowers. The little brown ones I also got from Hobby Lobby, but the white little flowers are from an arrangement that I bought a few weeks ago. And I'm just attaching hot glue around them to keep them together. So the piece of cloth that I'm using is from like a burlap ribbon roll that I bought, and I just cut it down and then added some more distressing ink over it to make it less white. And then I used hot glue on the back of it to attach to the moss. And what we're doing is coptic stitch. So the first step to prepare your holes is to make marks on the spine on where you're going to punch. I decided to do 6, and they're all about a ½ inch spaced apart. You could do more, you could do less, it's up to you. So once we have all of our holes punched on our signatures, we are going to lay the signatures on top of the back cover. And we're gonna mark where each hole lines up. And you want to have about a 1/4 inch on the spine where you mark your holes. So when you're cutting out your cover, you want to make sure that you have at least you want the cover to be at least a 1/4 inch bigger than your signatures so you can have enough space to have your holes. And also, when you are doing bookbinding, it's always good to have a slightly bigger cover just to protect the pages. But you could have it flush if you want to, it's up to you. I'm using twine to bind it. The twine has a nice natural feel, so I decided to go with that instead of embroidery thread or just regular thread. With that being said, the twine is thick, so I made sure I got a thick or a bigger needle than what I would usually use. When you're attaching the pages, you're gonna start bottom up. So we are first going through the first hole in the last signature of our book. And then we're gonna enter into the first hole of the back cover. We'll pull that through and then re-enter the first hole of that signature. I left a little bit of a tail on the inside of the book because I wanted to later add charms. You want to tie the string twice. Okay, then you're going to go into the next hole and enter into the hole in the cover. Wrap it around and re-enter into that hole. You'll continue that same stitch of entering to the hole and then entering into the cover until you get to the end. So once you get to the end, what you're going to do is take your needle around the thread that is exposed between the signature and the cover. So once you wrap that around, you're going to enter into the hole of your second signature. You'll pull that through and then enter into the next hole of your second signature. And from here, you are going to wrap around the exposed thread that's between the first signature and the cover. So this step would be a lot easier if I had a curved needle. I don't know where my curved needles are. They're lost somewhere in this apartment. What I just do is lift up the pages and wrap it around that way. But if I had a curved needle, I wouldn't have to lift the pages so much. So now we can attach the front cover. We are wrapping around the exposed thread that's between the fourth signature and the third, or you can think about it as the one that's right below, or the one that's closest to you. And once we get to the end, we are going to do a double knot and tie it off. And then the book is complete, or at least the binding of the book is complete. Because next week, I'm going to walk you guys through different ways to add embellishment to this journal. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. As always, remember to like and subscribe. It helps us to continue to create more awesome videos like this. If you have any questions about any of the techniques or anything at all about this project, or something that you would like to see happen, just comment below, or even any tips. I'm always open to tips. I love the junk journaling community, and I feel like we, are really supportive in sharing different ideas or expanding on ideas that we try out. Also, I publish an article weekly on medium.com about scrapbooking or bookmaking. So if you are interested in that, click on the link below. And we are on Instagram at 1134press. So let's be friends. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.